What's up, everybody? We are here to talk more soccer, virtual soccer, history of soccer, whatever we can think of that we could talk about today for this edition of the Orange and Black SoccerCast. Oh, by the way, this is the Orange and Black SoccerCast.
Towards the near post, the flick, and it's in! Darwin Jones with the response for Orange County. And it is a massive one, off the goal, dominant in the last 10. Forrester in the middle now, gets around a few defenders. Forrester with the outside of the right foot. What a strike by Harry Forrester. It's the opening goal for Orange County. It's looking beautiful. Heads it down, back post. Opportunity and a goal! A beautiful goal by Orange County.
This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black SoccerCast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, presented by Ruffneck, Scarves, and Icarus FC. We are the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I'm with you almost every single episode. I've only missed one as of right now, but hey, better than most people in other podcasts. I just totally lost track of where I was going. But yeah, we'll go from that. We're here to talk about Orange County Soccer Club. And to help me do so, we've got the person that is beating me on this podcast for the number of appearances. That is Dylan from County Line Coalition. Oh, by the way, he's also the one half of the play-by-play voice for the EUSL when I play matches. Dylan, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. I hope everyone is well in Orange County, San Diego, Reno, Germany,
San Antonio,
Kansas City, San Antonio,
Birmingham.
Probably. I don't know. I think wherever you are that you're well.
Well, we had one of our guests that's participating in the EUSL a couple weeks ago from the Birmingham, that's representing Birmingham Legion.
Yeah,
said he listens to us. So
he's doing very well, by the way.
He's in the EUSL Cup or in the
the Rocket
or the League, whatever. Yeah, the Rocket League thing. He got to have like a one-on-one interview with Kelsey Steele because of how good he's doing there. So Cameron, tough luck for you. You should have been better at Rocket League, Cameron. Also on this episode with us, as he typically is almost every episode, at least in the last year and a half, when he's not talking about San Diego Loyal or San Diego Sockers or Liverpool, he's here talking with us about Orange County. He'll probably talk about that stuff too at the same time. That's Alan in San Diego. Alan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you okay? I mean, are you okay? You doing all right, bud?
We're like what a month or so into this quarantine.
Just tell us about that beer, Ray.
Yes, I am drinking a beer. I'm almost done with 32 ounces of a beer from Gamecraft. If you follow Orange County Soccer Club on Twitter, they tweeted out about a great discount code, 20% off any order $20 or more for delivery or pickup. I went and decided to pick up. It's called There Is No Cow Level Coffee Milk Stout. And it's pretty good. It's at 8.9%. So that's why at 32 ounces, within the last hour, I've been drinking this. So that's why I'm a little bit all over the place at this moment. I apologize for those of you listening to us. I'm going to try and keep things going. This is my last bit that I'm drinking here. If you're watching live, you can see it. But yeah, no, I decided to do that. Go for it. Order yourself something from them, from Gamecraft Brewery. They're right there in Lake Forest on Avenida de Corlata, I believe is how you say it. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, if you happen to know.
I'm sure Alan, the resident San Diegan, is very familiar with rather
Laguna Hills
street
or whatever, Lake Forest streets.
Lake Forest / Laguna.
I think it's
Woods.
Laguna Hills, actually. I think it's Laguna Hills.
Is it Woods or Hills? I think it's Woods.
I don't know.
It's by all the old people.
It's for those of you that travel down. No, for those of you that travel down the 5, it's right where all those like home furniture stores are. Right there off the 5. I think off of the 5 and Lake Forest Drive.
Is it off the 5?
Yeah, it's off the 5.
Okay.
If you didn't know yet, it's off the 5. Thank you for helping there, Alan.
I do what I can.
Hey, we're here to have some fun. Again, I think a lot of us are starting to go a little crazy at this point with the quarantine going on or staying at home and not getting out and hanging out. I'm missing like karaoke or just going out to a Saturday night game at the Championship Soccer Stadium. But yeah, let's talk about some soccer, I guess. That's what we're here for, and that's what you're probably listening to hear us talk about is some soccer. What soccer can we talk about, gentlemen? I guess let's talk about the – go for it.
Talk about how the way you played, we're going to be talking about soccer either. So,
it's accurate.
Okay.
Though. That was abysmal on Friday night. The USL Championship matchup.
Yes, for those of you that missed the match, you can go to any of our social media and look at the recording of it. But I played against @Spenclar, SPENCLAR. He was representing Real Monarchs. Both of us were entering the match 2-0, 6 points. And it showed for most of the match. I think it was I will admit I was sort of on the ropes for most of the match, but I was at least holding my own. I was playing very defensively most of the match, which is very unlike me when I'm playing this match. I think both of you called it out that typically I'm the one putting on the high press, but he was sort of beating me at my own game. But I was at least avoiding the knockout punch for most of the match. Any cross that came in, I was clearing, or not clearing, but I was at least getting it out of the box and then fighting to get it out from there. And then in the 75th minute or so, he gets a cross in, gets a head to it. That head floats for like 20 seconds over my goalkeeper in the air. Looks like it may potentially go over the crossbar or out to the left of the goal, but happens to bounce in. And I end up losing with that one goal, 1-0.
That goal was
the
trajectory of that goal was very similar to that Michael Jordan slam dunk, where like he looks like he's just continuing to float. Like it just bends what you view as like proper physics. That's how the ball went. You're like, there's no way that ball is going. Oh, that's in the back of the net. I don't know how it happened. Like in real life, I don't think anyone could put that type of touch on a header just to just softly loft it, but apparently computers
and get it in the goal. I mean, yeah, apparently right. It was okay. I will admit this. It was a beautiful video game goal. You could be very frustrated when that happens. I think I laughed more that my goalie attempted to try and jump and punch that ball away, even though it was like 20 feet above his reach. Dylan, what are your thoughts when you saw that goal going? I know you guys were both like, I think Alan was the one that was a little bit more shocked by that goal when you listened to the call, but I think you were too, Dylan.
Yeah. For those of you that didn't watch it, it's a bit like Ray is on the podcast right now. That's how the match was going. Just utter chaos. Not able to deal with the circumstances that he found himself in for the entirety of the match. And then just gives up a weird
good call.
Floating goal. I think Alan's referencing MJ's dunk from the free throw line.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate. I'm sure most people can probably picture that. If you don't, I don't know where you've been for the last 32 years, but or longer. I don't even know. 32, 33. It was late 80s. I don't know, but it was not ideal for Ray, and he had no response.
10 years ago was February, so I mean it's got to be
that's true. 3.5, 15 score, and 8 days ago, I think gets us to the 90s. So
I think someone needs to take that goal and put in the Celine Dion version of "My Heart Will Go On."
The whole song would play before right? That ball goes in the back.
But I think it would be just magical to. Or and I will always love you. It would be really cool.
Or you play some like just crazy annoying loud song, and then once it hits the guy's head, just switch it to
Baker Street.
Celine Dion.
I think Fat 70 is doing some Baker Street would be great for that.
anyone that plays FIFA, you know the frustration of a goal like that because, again, like I mentioned, and I think Dylan Allen will back me up on this. Every cross that was coming in, I was at least getting my head to it. I was at least trying to clear it out of the box. My players weren't doing a great job of it. You guys even called it out in the match. They were like, you guys, I think, said a few times, like, what kind of clearance is that or what's going on there? But I at least was getting my head to it and preventing that goal from going in. And yeah, it was one of those frustrating goals as a player. I will admit on the Discord for the league, a lot of people were, or not a lot of people, but there were a few comments about it was a pretty good goal. And even my opponent said that, it was he had to work for that goal. It wasn't an easy goal to obtain. I will admit I was off. I mentioned to Dylan and Alan on the broadcast after the match that I'd been playing a lot of the Ultimate Team stuff because I had entered into the Weekend League for that. So for those of you unfamiliar with FIFA, when you go into the Weekend League, you have like 30-something games over the weekend to try and win as many as you can, which when you think about that, that's just sort of an insane amount of games to play over a 3-day period. But that's a totally different story. I didn't do great on that as well. So yeah, I'm going to go back and focus on playing with Spartak Moscow this week and make sure I put a thrashing on my next opponent, which happens to be Phil Grooms from the USL show. Phil, I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm hoping that I can beat you at least 10-0 in that match, if not more.
That was very New Mexico United of you to be like, well, I was in this other tournament and I just got really tired of playing FIFA, so I just didn't do well in the regular season. But you never know; they snuck into the playoffs, so this might not be a bad comparison.
Probably not.
Ouch. But I love the trash talk. That's super accurate.
Just so you
when
know,
is your game this weekend?
So I don't know. I've reached out to Phil on both Twitter and on our Discord for the league, and I haven't heard back from him yet. So I don't know if he's avoiding scheduling, hoping that he's going to wait till the last minute and schedule something. I don't know what's going on in my room right now. There's music playing.
Nice.
I'm going to assume my wife decided to play something on our Google Home. We have a speaker down here.
Oh, Brandy Carlisle. That's a great song.
Do we have to talk
We're
really
getting in
loud?
trouble for playing music, so hold on one second.
So if we just keep talking really loud over the music, no one will know what it is, and it won't get pulled from YouTube.
Oh yeah, sorry YouTube. It's not the good friend of the late John Prine, Brandy Carlisle. That was someone else entirely. I'm gonna text her right now and tell her I approve of her music taste.
We're gonna get pinged on all of our broadcasts that we had some sort of copyright infringement because of that. I've turned it down to 0 in here, so hopefully if she plays something again, it doesn't happen again. I was wondering why I started hearing some random music in here because I'm looking at my TV in here and it's playing a delayed version of our chat muted. So I'm like, it's not that. What's going on? I'm like, oh yeah, I have a Google Home speaker in here in the garage.
Raise the pact, everyone. This is a friendly reminder to change all your passwords because you've got nothing better to do right now.
Yes. No, it's one of those things. I don't know if I told anyone, but I'm working in my garage. Part of the quarantine is cleaning out my garage because if Dylan can attest, my garage is a mess. So I've been working on slowly cleaning it out. I set up my DJ speakers, the ones I typically bring out to our live broadcast. I have an old receiver in here now set up. So now I have my TV, my speakers, my receiver. Alan could say I was rocking out to Rage Against the Machine earlier today. So yeah, I don't know why I started talking about that, but it's this stuff right here probably.
Yeah, you're very drunk.
I am. I'm disappointed that I lost the match. I was at least hoping I could at least pull off a draw this past weekend. But hey, only one loss. I'm still only 3 points out of the top spot. Anything can happen. There's still like 20 more weeks in the season. Who knows what will happen?
And if it's anything like the USL, you could be mediocre for weeks at a time, make the playoffs.
Yeah, you can be pretty trash for 19 weeks, and
still make it,
and just turn it on and end up 5th. Who knows what'll happen? Should we stick it into our next section? Yeah, who does that remind you of, everyone? Who does that remind you of?
Let's move on to our next section. But really quick, just a reminder: follow us on social media. I will post on our social media account OCSC _SoccerCast or the Orange and Black Soccer Cast on Facebook the time of our match so that you can watch it if you want to against Phil Grooms of the USL show. Who knows, maybe we'll be able to pull one of the co-hosts of that show on to join Dylan and Alan on the play-by-play. Or maybe we can convince Phil to join on with me and we can all just talk while Phil and I are playing the match. We can just sort of have a crazy play-by-play.
That's what it always is.
That's what it always is. Let's transition on. Since there's no real soccer to talk about on the pitch, we decided literally like 5 seconds before we went live, let's look back at last season and pick maybe one or two moments from last season for each of us that we remember on how things went. I'm going to let Alan start because he had some interesting ideas. I don't know if he's actually going to follow through with those ideas.
No,
but I'm going to let Alan start with one of his options for a memory from 2019.
2019. I would probably have to say this is going to be super weird, but I'll explain why. The Wednesday, April 10th, Seattle Sounders 2/Tacoma Defiance match was pretty memorable just for me. It was I think like a 4-0 win. But what was memorable for me was the first time that I was writing something and watching a game in person for Orange County. And that just popped up in my time hop. But the prior one, I believe I was wearing my Flamingo shirt. It was, I think the first one I wrote was the Tulsa, but I was not at that match. So the first one I went to in person was that Wednesday game. I wore a Flamingo shirt, button-up shirt, a corduroy jacket, because I wanted to be just a little bit too hipster, because I was like, I'm a professional journalist. And no, it was super really memorable because what's that?
You were very
I think
cute.
Dylan was talking trash.
Thank you. I was very cute. No, that was memorable because that was the first time that I wrote a recap for Orange County in person, like at the match. So for me, that was very memorable. It was a really fun game to watch, really successful play on the pitch as well. So just kind of a jovial start to the season for me going to games. And I know that was a big win for the team early because it was a little rough at the beginning. So that was one of the really key wins in the beginning of the season.
Now, let me ask you, Alan, did you go and like frame your outfit from that match just to sort of have as a memory because somehow you remembered exactly what you're wearing. You probably remember exactly how many buttons you had buttoned up on your shirt, what brand your belt was, what kind of socks you had, what the color they were.
I actually don't remember my socks.
Okay.
But no, it was just because it was we made the joke that I was gonna wear like some type of like corduroy jacket or some type of jacket, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm wearing it now because I told him I would. So I wanted to go a little bit ridiculous the first time. But no, that was just a really cool experience, and it was kind of the start of something really fun for last season. So that's why, and it's not the most memorable game, I would say, but I think for the early season, it was a really kind of a personal big match, but also a really fun one.
No, definitely. And it was a pretty interesting experience. I'm not going to ask you because I don't want to sort of embarrass any entity at all. But I'm going to guess, Alan, that you were probably maybe only one of maybe one or two people up in the press box for a match like that on a Wednesday night at Championship Soccer Stadium. For those of you that don't really get a chance to go up there, it's usually not the most crowded section unless you're playing against Chivas, or not Chivas, Tijuana.
I was actually happy that there weren't too many people up there because I was like, I don't want to have to like sit by these people who might know what they're doing, and I'm here with like my notebook. I'm like, I'm gonna do this.
Although, hey, I will say this, Alan, we need to tweet out a picture of what your notebook looks like, because I think I'm gonna just sort of guess here between you, Dylan, and myself. You probably are the best note taker at a game or during a match out of the three of us, unless Dylan, you think you have Alan beat.
And I'm like way better than I used to be.
Matches ever. Oh my god.
Alan actually goes and like writes down the formation, who's playing where. all this stuff. And I think Dylan and Alan, or Dylan and myself, are more like, let's look at what USL has on their stat stuff. And we just sort of type out a couple notes as the match is going on and then figure it out from there. Whereas Alan's like an actual like.
That was
notes.
the weird part. Was that El Paso game? There were like quite a few like actual journalists there to cover the match, and they all had their computers out and they were like typing as the game was going. And I'm like with my notebook, like writing notes, like I'm gonna type this all up later. But they're like, no, I'm gonna write as I go. And I was like, yeah, but the problem is that you're writing and something fun's happening and you're missing it. So.
Because they all want to go home once the match is over.
They do. They're like, hopefully we don't score here at the end because I've already written my submission.
I know how that feels. I know Dylan's been through that too, where you're like, you got most of it written up, hoping that it's going to end the way it's ending, and then something happens last minute. You're like, darn it! Now I'm staying an extra half hour to fix things up.
Yeah, that was our New Mexico match last year when we drew against New Mexico at home. All of a sudden, like super late goal with Liam Trotter and Leonardo combining to score, and I was like, cool, now I have to throw out the last 20 minutes of work for this one. So really fun times.
You're waiting for the end of the match just so you can hit submit, and then all of a sudden it just changes your story.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
you have to change your intro because now it's a a decent outcome instead of a bad outcome, and you have to change the middle part, you have to change the end.
It's a good time.
Life of a sports writer, for those of you that don't do this type of stuff, now it's not as fun and easy as it sounds at all times.
Everyone's job, so don't do it.
Everyone's cheering, and you're up there going, frick. But then you're also happy. You're
excited because you're a fan of the team, right? So, good times. A great memory from 2019, Alan, to start off with. I don't know how we're going to top that, but I'm going to go to Dylan because I don't think I can top that. Dylan, do you have a memory from 2019 that you want to talk about?
I do. Christian Duke's return, I think, was the turning point in our season. Actually, I know it was the turning point in our season, and I would love for someone to debate me on that because you're wrong if you don't agree with that. You look at that first match, he comes in against Reno, and we are a different side. And we were probably lucky to get a point in that game, and instead we took it to them and beat them so handily. Should have been 4-0, wasn't a pen, 4-1, we'll take it. Danik Chrysostomos scores his first goal. That match in July in the middle of the day, it was 95. It was super humid. There were only a few of us in the County Line Coalition. I'd bet my hair. I got to keep my hair. It was a very good time all around. That was probably one of the better moments. And I know you have another Reno-related one, Ray.
I do, but I don't want to go there yet. You're trying to push us away from this middle of the summer day game, what we like to jokingly call the summer camp game, where it's like 3,000 8 to 13-year-olds in the stands that probably don't even know which team is Orange County. They're just sort of out there cheering. I think for the match you're talking about, Dylan, this past season in 2019, it was extremely hot, and I think a lot of the stands were sort of empty because no one wanted to actually sit in that sun. I was up in Boise hanging out with family in Idaho for that match, so I didn't get to experience what you guys did out there. But definitely, I sort of look back at last season, and I think what would have been different had Christian Duke been there from the start of the season and he didn't have that freak accident in the preseason. How would have it changed things for Orange County? I think definitely we would have had a higher seed in the Western Conference, which would have changed the whole outcome of what happens in the playoffs. Instead of having to go on the road to Salt Lake City in the first round, we're going to have a totally different opponent in that first round, probably at home. But unfortunately, Christian Duke did hurt himself in the preseason, missed basically half of that season. And I think it really affected the team. You can notice, I know, Dylan, you said once he came back, things changed. We sort of went on a good run there. I think it sort of derailed that first part of the season because the team's expecting him to be in there in the midfield and sort of solidifying things. I think him and Aiden Quinn had built such a great relationship the season before that it was just, we were all excited about that continuing, and unfortunately it didn't happen until too late in the season, in my opinion. Alan?
Yeah, prior to that Reno game, Orange County won 5 matches. And then counting that Reno game and going on, they lost 3 times total and only drew once. So that is a huge, that Reno 4-1 Reno match was like the tale of two seasons. Very similar to the tale of two halves, right? Very similar to the tale of two halves for Orange County games, where they would play really well one half and not well the other half. It seemed to be macro as well. Look at that analysis. That Reno match, I remember like feeling bad and laughing almost, but I couldn't because there was like a San Jose Earthquake scout in the press box that game. So he came down and was watching some guys, and like, but the people in the press box were like, "What is happening right now?" Like no one in the press box believed it. Like the San Jose guy was like, "I don't know what's going on." Like it was just that, 11th minute, 36th minute, 50th minute. It was just like these really nice goals, and then Danny, putting the cherry on the top at the end. But it was just one of those games where it looked like they were playing with a fire, but also with this like unbridled joy. They were both happy and angry at the same time, and they played that way. And it was so much fun to watch them play that way.
Well, and if I can recall, I believe Reno entered that match, second in the Western Conference, way behind a Phoenix Rising team that nobody was going to catch at that point. So the fact that Orange County put up such a great performance against basically the second best team in the Western Conference at that time was even more amazing. And that's probably why that's even such a more amazing moment in the season. Right, Dylan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you go back and listen to the episode right beforehand, I think Ray guessed a 5-0 loss or something. I was like, we're going to be lucky to get a point. I don't think Alan was very optimistic. Everyone I talked to wasn't super optimistic. And I do not know what happened that day, but it was something special.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I looked fondly, and I was very miserable because of the heat and felt terrible and got a horrific sunburn, but probably one of the better matches.
I was miserable because where I was in Idaho, I didn't have internet. I was literally the whole match. I was switching between because we were at my wife's grandparents' house in Idaho, and I guess their internet had like basically died for some reason. And we had been on the phone with the internet company all day. I'm trying to get it fixed before this match starts. And of course it doesn't get fixed. And I have Verizon, but unfortunately I was in a dead spot for Verizon where they live too. So I'm sitting there like all over the house trying to find a spot where my Verizon internet could connect so I could do the mobile hotspot on my phone to watch the match. And it would work for like 5 minutes and then it would cut out. And then I'm trying to do all this. So Dylan, I probably was just as frustrated as you were in the match, but for different reasons. Sorry, Alan. I know you wanted to say something.
Just saying, Reno had won 5 in a row, 7 of the last 8, and that one loss was against. So nobody thought that Orange County had a chance because they were playing miserably, and Reno was on a tear. And so it was like this almost like David versus Goliath situation, and it was just so much fun to watch.
It was awesome.
All right, tell us about the earlier Reno game, Ray.
The earlier Reno game, we've talked about it numerous times about our adventures in Reno, Dylan, about what happened with you at the airport and all that fun stuff. Very amazing experience, though. That was my first road trip, and being on a road trip, actually covering the team, so getting credentialed at the opponent's stadium, meeting up with our fellow podcast friends from Reno, the 1868 Weekly, John, Brad, and Matt. John sort of giving us giving me the 411 on the stadium and where to go and what to do. I know I went onto our Twitter account and sort of did a 360 of the stadium showing how empty the stadium was and posting that out. And then second half going up to the press box to go grab, food, because teams typically provide the press with at least something to eat, whether it's a sandwich or something better. Going up there, doing that, John introduces me around to all the staff and the other media members up there. And remember, I can't remember her name, but the person that basically is sort of was the head of the game day experience there at the stadium, basically gave me a hard time. She basically, when I got introduced, she said, "So you're the one that tweeted out that our stadium was empty." But she did it jokingly. It wasn't like this, like I felt like I had to leave or anything like that. It was actually a really good experience. A great host experience from our, again, the 1868 Weekly guys. They helped us out tremendously throughout the whole experience there, from chauffeuring us around town, taking us to the team events. The team did like a smoothie event before the match, and we got to go and hang out and talk to some of the Reno fans. I remember Andy, our super fan, was there also because he had made the trip up there, and a few other people. What else? Just being there to see GM Oliver Weiss buying drinks or buying a round of drinks for the fans that made the trip up there was a pretty neat experience. And the fact that Orange County came from behind and at least pulled a point out of that match when it looked like, it was going to be something bad. And that was, I don't remember if your hair was in the line for that match at that point, Dylan, or if that didn't come into play in the second match.
It was.
Think it was.
But
the
draw bailed me out because I remember thinking 7 minutes on, I started texting you. I think I was like, "Oh, I'm so screwed. Like my head's getting shaved here." And no, Michael Seaton and Aiden Quinn had something else to say about that. So,
well, for those that didn't follow us back then, we also had made a bet with 1868 Weekly that the losing squad had to basically change their podcast logo to the other team's colors. And I was literally up in the press box. I think this was like the early 81st minute, trying to Photoshop our logo to look at the Reno colors, because I was down to the point where we probably have lost this match. And then all of a sudden they come back and tie the match. I will say, I don't think I showed anyone. I don't know if I even showed you guys what the logo was going to look like. I think maybe John was the only person that saw that, because he was up there in the press box with me and I was showing him this is what it's going to look like if I have to do it. Because at that point, I don't know how to Photoshop, and we didn't have like a Photoshop image. It was just basically a pieced together image that was on a JPEG. So trying to Photoshop something like that where there's really no distinct borders on there was really difficult. And he said, "Yeah, that'll work if this happens." He was getting all excited. And then we tie the match. And then, like Dylan already said, in the reverse match, we pull off the awesome victory, which meant Dylan didn't have to cut his hair. We didn't have to change our logo. 1868 Weekly had to change their logo. I can't remember if I have a copy of that somewhere. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I took a screenshot of that to share somewhere. So hopefully I can find that and we can post a picture of that in the near future. I really want to say, because we actually have someone that's listening to us live on YouTube, and that's Logan. Hey, Logan, how are things going for you? Hopefully you're staying safe in all of this craziness and you're finding a way to stay sane. His favorite moment of 2019 was, he said, probably beating Phoenix. So I think for any Orange County fan, at least in 2019, that was a great victory, especially since they had knocked us out the season before. They stormed our field the season before, which I know a lot of Orange County fans weren't happy with. And I know we've talked about in the past, Logan likes to sort of mess with Phoenix fans from time to time on the social medias. Would that fit in either of your top moments of 2019, Dylan or Alan?
I mean, Dylan?
Not in my top two, no. It's a good win.
Okay.
It was nice to get that back. And it was cool to be like when Phoenix has 18 straight games, the last time they lost is when they played Orange County. Like, that felt good, even though the reverse fixture went horrifically. And,
although it was a fun trip.
Yeah, I look actually more fondly on the 0-3 loss that we had in Phoenix, just because of the people that were there and getting to hang out with some of them. I did not appreciate the heat, but that's part of it. I'm biased towards away days. What can I say? But I do know Logan's Twitter MO is either taking the piss or getting Phoenix fans, either taking the piss from Phoenix fans or getting Phoenix fans to take the piss. So, I understand.
That was the fun one with the live pod too.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, getting that guy to admit that he only came to Phoenix matches because Drogba was there. Which I understand. I totally get it. If I liked Drogba and I lived in Phoenix, I'd probably do the same thing.
But the
don't
fact that
have
we have
either
been
of those
told
things.
numerous times by Phoenix fans that it's not only about Drogba, and then the one Phoenix fan that comes up to our booth on our live broadcast basically says, yeah, because Drogba was there, that's why I started following the team. That was just such icing on the cake for that event for us. And also the fact that we got mariachi bombed.
Oh, that was good. I have to say I'm a San
was
Diego
awesome.
Loyal fan because I love Irvin Parra. That's actually none of that.
But yeah, no, having a mariachi band actually come out and basically serenade the three of us.
That was nice.
I don't know what they were thinking, why they would want to serenade the three of us, but hey, they did, and they put on a good show, and it was pretty cool. And we have that on tape to prove that it actually happened. Yeah. Alan, do you have another moment that you would like to share, or is your only moment that first journalism
I don't know
experience?
if I'm going to steal this from Dylan, but my other favorite moment was the late in the season playoff positioning on the line. Orange County, after losing to Real Monarchs, which could have solidified a higher home seed, have to go on the road to play Sacramento Republic. And after a
god-awful announcing.
it was that game felt as chaotic as this podcast does. Like it was just nothing made sense. Back and forth. Was it a goal? Was it a goal? Was it? I remember them saying the ref needs to go back and read the rule book and yada. I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. And that 78th minute winner from Michael Orozco to seal this very heated game. It was probably one of my nail-biting, frustrated, but also excited matches of the year. This is one of my, if I can go back and watch a game, this one would be it.
Dylan, did he steal that from you?
No, I was really nervous for a second. I was going to get really, really angry. I think my favorite thing from that match was Jordan McCrary trying to throw hands with Joe Amico. That highlights that whole match was such a disaster for Sacramento. It was such a bad look on a team that was so gung-ho about we're going to MLS and we're like one of the best teams in this league because we've been consistently in third place for 5 years. Oh my God. That was hilarious. I've never enjoyed such a chaotic match where I was like wildly, it's a bit like a metronome, just going between like extremely frustrated and like chaotic, gleeful laughing at the television. Truly amazing stuff.
And I think for that match,
oh my God.
I was on the Orange Count, or I was on the Orange and Black SoccerCast Twitter feed for that, and I was just sort of complaining left and right about the announcers for Sacramento on this match because it was Sacramento homers calling the match, and I think there were multiple Orange County fans that were a little frustrated about the way they were calling the match. I get it; they're homers, they're the home team's play-by-play team, but because it's a national feed on ESPN Plus, you need to find a way to be a little bit more professional about the way you're calling things, even if things aren't going your way. Take a lesson from some other commentary or play-by-play people.
That's for sure.
But there's other people I can think of in maybe other sports that do a better job, even if it's the home team broadcast. They're still at least being mostly fair about what they're saying and not being not whining or complaining about what the ref is doing or not doing on the pitch. That's definitely something that should be happening. I still think that to this day, but yeah. Dylan, what was your second moment from 2019 that you wanted to share that Alan did not steal from you?
Michael Seaton, and he got robbed on this, not getting an assist, but Michael Seaton assisting Joe Amico's first professional goal. My two favorite players combining for a great goal and a really dominant win over another playoff side. Gave us a little bit of breathing room over El Paso. That was spectacular to me. Seaton absolutely got robbed. The pass made it to its intended target. The fact that it hit a defender on the way through, that doesn't mean anything. It didn't change how it was truly incredible. I almost cried when it happened. I almost cried when I wrote about it in the recap. I almost cried when I did the little Photoshop thing for him afterward. Oh, it was just so special. What a time. I miss both of them so much.
Yeah, I sort of beat you to that, Dylan, because I went onto our live streams and actually commented on that we miss Michael Seaton, or that we miss at Seats, which for those who don't follow him on Twitter, that's his Twitter handle. That was amazing to see. Is that his Twitter handle? I can't remember now because it's not coming up. Maybe he changed it. But
it's at Mikey Seaton, but Mikey has two E's and there's an underscore
at the
end of Seaton. So it's at MikeeYeeSeaton underscore.
So he changed his Twitter handle. I haven't.
His display name is Seats.
Oh, there we go. That's why.
Amateur hour over here. Ray is very drunk, everyone.
I'm actually not too bad at the moment. Let me go for my second favorite moment of the season, and that would have been the final home game of 2019, which happened to coincide with my birthday. I messed that up. Alan, fix me.
Coincide.
There we go.
I'm not that drunk, guys. Now, who are we kidding? You do this all yourself.
Drunk. We're not that drunk.
Not that drunk. Yes.
Yeah,
no, but
right now, Ray.
I'm white girl wasted. I wouldn't call it that much wasted. My the October 19th, my birthday, the final home match of the season. Orange County pulls off the victory. It was an awesome night, and a bunch of people showed up to watch the match with me, and kind of like Collision was going crazy. Not Alan. Alan's too cool. I think he was too excited about San Diego potentially or going to have a future USL team. He didn't want to come watch that final match of the season at Championship Soccer Stadium. But yeah, no, it was just an awesome experience to go get a victory celebrating my birthday with a bunch of people. And that's all I'll say about it. Because I'm white girl wasted, apparently.
Yeah, you definitely are. And believe me, I would know. But that was a great match. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. A couple of San Diego loyal players making, or maybe just one, and Gudis Lawal making an appearance in that one, making some incredible decisions. I talk about it every weekend in the EUSL, is the decision making in this league is not always the best, and he is probably one of the leaders of making insane decisions on the pitch, like booting a ball from the midfield to his own goalkeeper for some reason. I think he later saw red.
He wanted to play out of the back.
Truly incredible. Yeah, he wanted to play out of the back. Pep would be proud.
Luckily, I always make the best decisions.
Hard time to keep him from City this summer, I think.
Luckily, I always make the best decisions when I'm playing FIFA 20.
Always.
The USL Championship.
Always.
Especially with your keeper.
Yeah. Certainly no giveaways there. No, sir.
Yeah.
We're
You
boring.
weren't wrong, Dylan.
Are we boring you, Alan? Are we boring you?
There were two.
He's yawning.
Was it the wall?
He's yawning in the middle of our podcast.
Elijah Martin.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's not boring. I'm just tired. There's a difference.
Why are you tired?
Because I have narcolepsy.
Fair point.
All right.
Well, on that wonderful note.
Yes, let's just jump to random thoughts since we're going to go there.
This is over with. We're so sorry.
Medical diagnosis there.
Oh yeah, HIPAA.
Alan, share with us a random thought to end this episode.
Probably the same thing I said last week or the week before. Like, if you have children at home and you are, quote, distance learning, don't overdo it. Don't stress yourself out. And support your kids' mental health as well. If school's overwhelming, like, it's all right that you can't help them all the time, or if they need to take a break, like, worry about making sure that you are getting out of this with good mental health practices, and you're not super stressing yourself out about schoolwork. Things will be all right. We can work on some extra stuff over summer, but for right now, like, worry about making sure we get all out of this together in the end. And, sometimes maybe math isn't always the most important thing, but taking that time to make sure we're not overdoing ourselves. So that's my random thought.
So you said we can do extra work over the summer. So that means we can send all of our kids to what's the email address?
Dylan at Orange and Black.
And so you say, so I've been making my kids do like 8 hours of classwork a day. And when they mess up on something, I basically like yell at them and all stuff. That's not the way to do it, is what you're saying.
Introduce them to La Chancla and
right, or a ruler. Familiar. A ruler. That's another good one.
Paintsters, leather
smash ball paddle. Smash ball paddle
works. Yeah, you got that. It's Orange County. You got those laying around for those summer beach days. So, they're not going to get used this year.
Can't use them at the beach. Might as well use them for something, right?
We should probably take a moment to say that we do not advocate child abuse.
We do not.
SoccerCast does not condone abusing your children or anyone else's children, for that matter.
No. In case sarcasm does not come out well on a podcast, that's exactly what we're talking about here. I've been doing, like Alan said, not being too hard on my kids and letting them work at their pace, even if it means like one of my older sons doesn't finish what he's doing until about 4:30 because he wants to take some breaks between stuff. As long as he's getting it done, I'm letting him, do it at his pace and get things done. And I'm not stressing them out. So it's definitely good advice from Alan there when it comes to what these kids are going through, because we got to remember they're also going through some really crazy stuff right now, totally different experience for them. They're used to being in school with their friends, with their teachers that they've grown this relationship with through the season. And now we're telling them, hey, stay at home, don't play with friends, and let your parents handle helping you out if you need help. So good advice there, Alan. And dog. Dylan, go for it.
Sorry, I'm really distracted by. Is this Brew, Alan?
This is Brew.
Oh.
Mute your mic.
Were you about to say you're really distracted by dog?
I am, yeah. Brew, what is your random thought? Please tell us.
Speak, Brew, speak. Good dog.
Bork.
There you go. That's it.
All right. Well, I admire a man who knows when to be silent.
He's telling us it's all right to meditate silently and just be okay with your thoughts.
We probably should have done that for an hour tonight. Instead, we've done whatever this mess has been. My random thought is always a literature recommendation. This week is no different. It's Edgar Allan Poe's The Cask of Amontillado. If you have been in school in the last 20 years, you've probably already read it, but you should go back, read it again. It's pretty solid. It's not Telltale Heart. That's fine. I think it's just as good. That's, other than that, I don't know. Lucas Nelson's got a really great Quarantunes session thing going on right now. That's been really solid. And yeah. That's it. Wash your hands.
How's it been solid? Wash your hands, of course. Yes. And I just wanted to remind people, if you don't watch or haven't watched or did not watch the previous FIFA 20 EUSL Championship match that I participated in, we have decided to help raise some money for a good cause. In doing that, Dylan Allen did a great job of mentioning it throughout the broadcast. We are helping raise money for Orange County Soccer Club for the Relay for Life of South Orange County, I believe is what it's for. If you want to go and either donate or join their team, you could do so by just typing in donate.ocscpodcast.com. It'll take you to the Relay for Life page for Orange County Soccer Club. We created that because the link that they provided me was like 100 characters long, and I figured it would be a lot easier for you to remember donate.ocscpodcast.com if you felt like donating or joining the team. The event is scheduled to take place in the first weekend of June, but we don't know at this point how things are going, but you can still go on and donate, and you're donating to a really great cause. If you want more information, just go to that website that I've mentioned a couple times, donate.ocscpodcast.com to find out more information, donate, or join the OCSC team for that, again, for a great cause.
Remember, Alan or Ray, Alan's
Yes.
I don't know what Alan's doing. Maybe Alan's going to donate $1 for every goal that Ray scores, but maybe he will donate $10 this week if he beats Phil Grimm's 10-0 through June 6th, of course. And we're not taking anything off the top. All of that's going to a good cause. So go donate. Those of you who can. Take that $1,200 of your whatever and give it all to
stimulus or whatever it is. Yeah, we're not getting anything out of this. This is directly to Relay for Life and to their donation page. I've actually already gone and donated $25, and then I'm going to donate $1 for every goal I score in the EUSL Championship between now and June 6th, which is when the event is scheduled to take place. Yep.
Just gonna throw it out. Also, if you have kids, which you probably
how much has Dylan and Alan donated?
I don't have a job because there's no sports, so we're working on that front.
You got a stimulus coming though.
I've donated my time.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we donated a lot of really good segues into that. I only have so many in my.
Oh, there were some killer segues.
We were. I'm going to pat myself on the back here, but
on fire.
Some of us were good on Friday night, and some of us were Ray.
Hey, I'm going to make up for it this weekend against Phil as long as he's willing to schedule the match and it doesn't become a forfeit on his end. Let's wrap things up. Alan, where can our listeners follow you if they want to hear more or see more of what you have to say?
Underwood48 on the Twitter machines, and I'm sorry if they want to listen to more of me or find more of me.
Dylan, go for it.
You can find me on Reddit /u/OCSC_Dylan. You can find me on Twitter at OCSC_Dylan. You can find me at eldonnews.org under the byline Dylan Allen.
And you can find me on Twitter at DJ Ray some more. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast. You can find the podcast on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram. You can also go to our website, OCSCpodcast.com, to listen to all of our previous podcast episodes and also read any news that we've written, even though we haven't done much writing in a while because there's not much to write about at this point. Apologize for that. But yeah, it's just what it is. But we still have a podcast going, so you can listen to all of that great stuff.
It's not great.
Alan, I'm gonna throw it to Alan really quick and see if he can remember.
Oh, poop.
If he can remember how to
tired of your cookie cutter jerseys from companies like Nike and Adidas.
Dylan is learning it.
Look at Icarus FC for all of your custom jersey needs.
Go for it, Alan. I'm
tired of the same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique, completely custom kit for your youth club, Sunday league squad, adult, or even pro team? Icarus FC can help you create the kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your new custom kit today at IcarusFC.com.
There we go. That's how you do it, Dylan. Also want to just remind everyone, if you want to enjoy some local craft beer, you can do so from Gamecraft Brewing. They have 20% off orders over $20. You can get delivery or you can pick up at their location. And the promo code is GC2GO. If you want to participate on that, you can go to the website to go and order gamecraftbrewing.com to order any of their beers, again, for pickup or delivery. Get 20% off by using the promo code GC2GO. For Dylan, for Alan, this is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.
You have been listening to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. For the latest Orange County SC news and information, visit our website, OCSCpodcast.com. Also, thanks to our sponsor, Ruffneck Scarves, official scarf supplier to MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get custom scarves for your group or team at ruffneckscarves.com.